Welcome, Zach Howard.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm outstanding. How's the con going?
It's good. We got Zoom bombed on the last panel, which I had said that just means we got hacked, so that wasn't too pleasant. I got to try to never let that happen again. Other than that, it has gone off without a hitch, and we're having a lot of fun.
Okay. Well.
Okay, so everybody, this is Zach Howard. He among some other art that he has done, he is an official artist for Hellboy, and he has a Hellboy issue coming out, I think, in October.
The second issue. First issue's already out.
So, well, can you draw and talk?
Yes, ma'am.
Multi-talented. All right, so Zach, tell us a little bit about yourself while you're working on Hellboy.
Well, I guess what do you want to know? Can we narrow that down a touch?
Sure.
My favorite color is blue. My social security number. Get a pen out.
Yeah, not a good idea since we got hacked. So, when did you first get interested in art? I mean, were you like super young, or did this come later, like a teenager?
Oh, I guess I enjoyed drawing when I was a kid with my friend. So I guess from pretty young. I loved the artwork on books I used to read, and then that got me into Frank Frazetta, who was doing the covers for Conan novels. And eventually I started buying Conan comic books, and that kind of led me to my love of comics.
So Conan, Conan was like one of your favorites when you were young?
Oh, yeah. The Conan magazine when I was growing up in Germany was all I could get for comic books. So that's literally the only comic I read till I moved back to the United States.
You grew up in Germany?
For a few years. Germany and Hawaii mostly.
Damn.
And
I do not feel sorry for you.
In Nebraska, I got stuck in that shithole for a bit. But there's worse fates in life, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, anyways, did you have another? I may have missed the rest of the question there, Colleen.
No, I just asked, when did you get started? I think we had spoken about what inspires you in our interview yesterday.
Yeah.
I was saying that when I'm creating, when I'm writing, I need peace and quiet. I need it to be quiet. I wish music could inspire me, but that has to inspire me at other times. Tell me what kind of music inspires you while you're drawing, because I know that it can inspire you, it can give you some creativity. Tell us about that.
Well, right now I'm big into European DJs that play deep cut stuff, but I listen to it because it's usually instrumental or in a foreign language, so I don't concentrate on what people are saying. But I honestly, at this point in my life, I rotate through all types of music. I do listen to podcasts. But as far as music goes, there's not a genre outside of top 40 country that I won't listen to. And you kind of rotate, and depending on your mood or what you're inking, the more I'm creating laying out comics pages and things like that, the more I need not something without words in it, if that makes sense. So I listen to a lot of instrumental stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of Cuban and Spanish music, French DJs, things like that. So, and the rest of the time is either podcasts or audio novels, audio books, I guess. I can speak like a person. So.
Yeah, I'm watching it. It's so cool.
Yeah, we'll get a good little Hellboy up for you. I haven't drawn him in a bit now that I'm done with the series. So we'll see what I can do.
Okay, so the second issue is coming out in October?
October.
So where can people buy it?
Anywhere they want.
Right.
So, any comic store, if there's any left. But online, it's available both digitally and, traditional. You can buy a real actual book. So anywhere that comic books are sold. How about that?
Very cool.
Yeah. So, yeah. Hellboy was a lot of fun to draw. Working with Mignola was a lot of fun. He wrote one hell of a story for me, so I was pretty honored about that.
Yeah, how did that come about? How did you get approached, and how did you get the opportunity to draw Hellboy?
Well, it was late one night, and Mignola and I were deep in a makeout session, and he just paused and whispered in my ear, "You want to draw Hellboy?" And I collected my breath, and I said, "Yes, yes, sir." And that's how it happened. But no, he just saw my artwork online. I did Hellboy as my first paying job back in 2002 or 2003, I don't know. And I don't know, he was just looking at my crap and just wrote me and asked me if I'd do a book for him. So as near the end of my freelance career, meaning I'm kind of done drawing for other people, but Mignola is one of my bucket lists. I always wanted to. The first time I drew it as a gaming artist, I drew gaming manuals, and I wasn't very good. I was learning how to draw on the job, and I knew I didn't make Mike happy the first time I did Hellboy. I was just a kid, and I just promised myself if I ever got another opportunity, I was going to show him what was up. So I got another opportunity, and I literally gave 100%, tried to do my best work.
Wow, congratulations. I mean, that's huge.
Well, thank you.
Do you tell people about the Cape? Because I know that's one of your popular issues.
Yes, ma'am. The Cape is a book I do with Joe Hill, who you may know him from Lock and Key, Nosferatu, the movie Horns. He's Stephen King's son and one of the most famous writers in the world right now. I did a horror book with him in 2010 called The Cape, which is based on a short story he did about a troubled young kid that finds a cape that he had when he was a kid, and it actually helps him fly. And basically, The Cape is just the story of the character named Eric and what he does with that ability to learn how to fly. It's a real pick-me-up story. People find a lot of inspiration in it, love and warmth. That's what I'm told, at least.
Oh, I love that. This world needs a lot of that right now.
Yeah, some. I was being facetious. I don't think you should read it if you're looking for inspiration.
No,
it's about
it's a horror story.
It's a horror story. it's one that'll punch you right in the chest when you're done. I promise you won't know. Hell, the first issue was nominated as Book of the Year in 2010.
Oh, congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah. We lost.
Oh, but you got nominated.
The cool thing is Mignola was up for an award that year too, and he lost. So we both lost. So I was in good company. Yeah, it's a pretty good book. It's probably my most famous single issue book that I've done was The Cape. And then I did 2 miniseries as sequels.
Okay, well, when I met you at DINK, the Denver Independent Comic and Art Expo, that's what you were known for. When I was asking around about you, and when I went up and introduced myself, I remember people talking about The Cape. So I know you're well known for that one.
Well, thank you. My best book is called Wild Blue Yonder, though, which I just sold the rights to last year. So I don't own it anymore. But if you ever want to see my best work, Wild Blue Yonder, with Mike Raich and Nelson Daniel.
Well, tell us about it. I've heard of it. What's Wild Blue Yonder about?
It's a coming of age. It's very Miyazaki, if you're familiar with Miyazaki's work in Studio Ghibli. It's a coming of age story of a young lady in basically a post-apocalyptic world. It's Mad Max, but with jets and with a Miyazaki flair. So it's a coming of age story of a young girl, and she has to live on basically up in the air because the world's so polluted. And her adventures and friends and jetpackers and axes to face and cool dogs. She has a dog named Critter, likes biting people. It was optioned by Intel for camera technology that eventually became defunct. And then we moved over to Apple. It was an animated app for a while called with Gerard Butler starring as Scram, Zoe Deutsch as Cola, and Ed Harris as Big Cola, and it was pretty cool animation over. I think you can get the first 15 minutes free at appleapps.com.
Man.
If it's still active.
Gosh.
I sold the property, so I don't know if it's still active. But, you know, there you go.
I like it. Reap the benefits.
Well, you're not going to make money as a comic artist. That's for fucking certain. Oops. Am I allowed to curse? Should I?
Of course you can curse.
Okay. Good. That's usually a good thing for me.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, I've met you. Yeah. Well, of course you can curse.
Okay. I can turn on my grandma filter, though.
No, that's no fun.
We can talk about socks and how the weather is.
Oh, my God. No, you're more entertaining as the real Zach.
Okay. Well, good. Good. I can do that at 100%.
Good. Well, while you're drawing, I mean, I can draw a tree and a stick figure, like I said, maybe a flower, but can you tell us about your process? Like, how did you start it? Did you trace that? Did you draw it freehand and now you're inking? Or can you explain to me how this process works?
So this was drawn freehand, digitally, in a program called Clip Studio. And then I took it into Photoshop and I turned all the pencil lines into blue, as you can see. And that's non-reproduction blue. So when I scan it in, those blues will be just a ghostly gray, which I'll be able to digitally take out in an instant. And then all that's left is the black lines.
Wow.
But yeah, I draw everything freehand. I think actually one of the biggest problems with illustrators nowadays is they don't draw freehand, so they never really learn how to draw. They just trace or literally cut and paste models and things like that into, you know, the drawing programs are so potent nowadays. And you can do epic stuff with digital assistants. However, if you don't learn how to do it, you don't really know how to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So your eye is never trained how to correct things or blah, 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 because you're used to having a computer hold your hand. So the understanding isn't there. And I think that's a detriment of artists nowadays, is that are just purely digital and learn only on digital. If your hand can't do it, you can't do it. So it's very important, I think, for young artists, even if they're digital artists, to learn how to draw and ink with your stupid mitts and a pen or pencil or paintbrush or whatever, you know, your poison is. You're doing yourself a disservice if you only rely on the shortcuts of a computer. And I don't even know how I got on that. Apologize for standing on my soapbox for a second there.
Why? I want to hear it.
Well, I don't know.
I want to understand the process. So, I mean, if you don't have the basics down, how are you going to do it digitally?
Well, you can do it digitally is the sad thing. It's so user-friendly and built to be an assistant art, you know, your assistant while generating art, that you can literally mimic with just a minimal amount of skill being a professional artist at times. But the problem is you're very limited because you can only do what the computer does for you. So you really don't understand when you do like 3-point or 4-point or whatever point perspective. If the computer is crushing all the math for you, you never built those neurons in your head. You just know how to press a button correctly, but you don't know how to do perspective. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, you know, I implore young artists to learn traditional stuff. So when they do digital art, but when they do digital art, they will have a basic understanding of what they'll use the computer as a tool and not a crutch. Does that analogy work?
Yeah, makes sense.
Cool. So there you go. So what other things have you guys been doing today?
Well, let's see. Our panel before this was super interesting. We actually had these women on that are professors and they have doctorates.
Mm-hmm.
It just blows my mind to listen to these women. But with all their brains and all their brain power together, they actually spoke about fan fiction, writing fan fiction, what it means to us as fans. And it was really cool listening to them. We had some other people join in, and it was a great discussion, except for getting hacked. But other than that, it was great. Before that, I don't know if have you ever met Daniel Crozier or
Good buddy of
Chaz
mine.
Kemp? Yeah, I figured you must know Daniel.
Yeah, he's my buddy.
Yeah, he's awesome. He hosted a panel with Chaz Kemp. I don't know if you've met Chaz Kemp. He's another local artist here in Denver.
I don't know, and I don't want to say no because I'm terrible with names. Yeah. And I don't want to be a shithead if he has met me and I say no. That was long-winded. How about just no?
Yeah, that works. He works a lot with watercolors.
Yeah.
He also is in a band called Pandora Celtica, so he's kind of like multi-talented.
One of those cats. Awesome.
Yeah, but that was gonna be just a basic panel getting to know him and Daniel and Chaz talking. But what it turned into was Chaz, who is Black, was discussing a little bit about racism and some of the shit that's happened to him as an artist and as a graphic artist and things that have happened to him.
Awesome. That must have been a salient conversation.
Right. It was eye-opening, and it's especially with what's going on today. So that turned into something interesting. It
awesome.
Took some curves. Up next, we've got online gaming with this thing called Jackbox Games. That's pretty fun. We've got someone who's going to run that for a couple hours. So gamers will be able to get their gaming on. And this thing goes all the way till tonight with some Ghost Adventurers viewing. We're going to watch an episode of Ghost Adventures, which Melissa here, who's on this cast right now, is hosting. Hey, Mel.
Ooh. What are you doing a Ghost Adventure?
They're doing it tonight at 6 o'clock. Hold on.
It's 9 p.m. Eastern.
All right, so 7 p.m. Mountain Time. So they're going to watch Ghost Adventures, and then right after that, they're doing an interactive paranormal panel. So they're going to talk about ghost stories and experiences that people have had, and they're doing it after dark. Well, it's after dark Eastern Time. So that's
bring your s'mores, huh?
I wish.
I know, right?
So, well, awesome. Glad the show's going well for you. I hope no more jerks hijack your podcast or your stream. Or apologies, everyone. I'm technically ignorant, so my vernacular is going to be laughable as far as that goes.
You're an artist.
One thing I did want to say, if anybody wants me to use a certain tool, I'll let people choose what I do with the background. You want fire, an explosion, something designy, rocks, when we get there. So just so whoever's watching, if you got any thoughts, this is your guys' drawing. I'm just getting my basic Hellboy wrapped, FYI. So
I'm thinking about that.
Okay.
So you can have an explosion.
I can have whatever you want.
Or
as long
whatever.
as it doesn't take too long. Like, don't say city on fire or something like that. But if you want something organic, we'll do smoke and explosion, just regular fire, something designy, kind of Mignola-y, like a big black shape, and I can have them say crap or what, All I'm trying to say is we can make this interactive.
All right.
Are you using different pens? Is that why you're not? Because I see you're moving around on the page. So
yeah, I think I'm doing one of the do as I say, not as I tell techniques in art right now. So what I'm doing, this is called a Repediograph, or this one actually is a Rotring, which is the German machine version of a Repediograph. And it's a technical nib, but it's a deadline nib, which means it just creates one single width. But the thing is, you can go here. I'll know there'll be some black over here. We'll make sure we add black. But I can go any direction with it. You know, that little scribble line is actually a really dynamic line as far as a tool is concerned.
Yeah.
And I don't have to worry about paper grain as much. I was self-taught, so I actually learned as a pen artist and then had to get good with a brush later on to learn how to be professional. But what it did afford me is a very kind of a very lengthy and deep understanding of how these pens work. And I can use them usually a little bit more proficient than your average person. But that just comes from drawing by myself, you know, for years and not really knowing how to do stuff correctly.
Gotcha.
But I'll pull out, here, we'll mix it up. This is called a zebra. Where are we? Here we go. This is one of the best brush pens on earth. If not, it is the best brush pen on earth. What it does is it's the combination of a pen and a brush. As you'll see, this nib kind of bends when I push it. So I can use it like a brush. So I can get this thick, you can go thick, you know, you can create these kooky lines like that.
Cool.
Or I can do dry brush, which you'll see here. Well, see how it simulates a gray right here. So it goes from like black to gray. You can do action lines like that. We'll turn that into part of the explosion. But I can set up big, big, meaty lines. Big old fat mamas. So most inking goes from top left to bottom right. I do that, but I also do a hybrid version depending on what tool I have in my hand at the time. I will bounce around. It's a very undisciplined way of doing it. However, you know, at this point in my career, I'm pretty comfortable drawing the crap I draw. So I kind of know in my head what I mean and what I have to watch out for, you know, etc. You have to get disciplined so you don't drag your hand through it. It's, you know, things like that.
But it also gives it like a unique look so you know that you did it.
Well, hopefully. That's the point, to have your own voice, hopefully.
Yeah.
That's what everybody's kind of, whether they know it or not, you're kind of developing your whole life, you know. As an artist, it's a very tangible expression of, you know, a human being trying to assert themselves on planet Earth, no matter the art form. So, yeah, I think it's really important to find your own voice. And that doesn't mean don't be influenced. We all have to be influenced and inspired and etc. And we have to learn from others in things. But that being said, it's all just all that learning process and observation and repetitive you know, skill process, like learning how to use a tool or and why and when. All it's really doing is teaching you, or no, you're developing basically not just your own voice, but your own language that's unique to the world. But it's a language that everyone can understand if you do it correctly. And that's the magic of a real artist, is they make, you know, things that already, like this is a 2D drawing. When I'm done with it, I want it to make it feel like it exists in its own world, if that makes sense. In its world, it's 3D. And I think that's the point of an artist, is to bring something that didn't exist into the world into existence, and hopefully, you know, society digests that in your, you know, with your own language and gets a new perspective or a new understanding or something, or you inspire that person to create. Who knows where that, you know, chain leads eventually. So
Is there something that you do to make it pop off the page instead of 2D to try to make it 3D? What is it? What is the technique that you use for that?
Well, I'll be gray toning this, which will help add, it'll create, instead of two tones, it'll create visually to your eye an infinite amount of tonal value, but without color. It'll be gray.
Okay.
But in your mind, it'll start having volume. And by what I mean by that is light will start gradually wrapping around shapes, which creates in your eye a feeling of depth. Now, there's obviously, it's up to the artist how they want to do that. And some do it more dynamically than others for other reasons. Some are more successful than others. Myself, I normally just use black and white. It's either a positive black line or black shape, or it's a negative, and that's white. And I'll come back in, you'll see at the end, and actually add white on top of this to pop out some hairs, a few corrections. And at that stage, I'm almost painting, if that makes sense. I'm not even inking anymore.
Oh, okay.
And that's, you know, one of the reasons why my fellow constituents think I'm absolutely insane. But it's also kind of my moniker for my stuff is I don't like a drawing to be done until it tells me it's done. And that's one of the reasons I absolutely hate deadlines. They're not all bad, but they limit true creative excellence, if that makes sense. And at this point in my career, I have almost no respect for not attempting to reach greatness, if that makes sense. And I don't think production, especially in my field, the production side of it, appreciates the value of art and literature versus getting the effing project out or the product out so Marvel and Disney can make another buck and have another retreat on Maui to talk about how awesome they are.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, I mix my tools up a bit more than the average inker because, again, I paint more. You won't see a lot of artists not named Travis Teray using this tool right here outside of the occasional, like, tiny little like eyeball detail or something like that. Because it's slow, it's not built for production. It's built for precision. So it's always squeezing the balloon when you're a comic book artist. Are you achieving greatness? Are you expressing his art? Or are you just getting the goddamn comic book done? And unfortunately in the US, the latter is dominant. And by dominant, I mean 99% dominant.
Huh.
I equate US comic books with fast food.
Wow.
It's quick, it's easy. It gives you that quick little dopamine release, but you're lacking nutrition, real substance and achievement. Not always. There's some badasses that do reach greatness in this comic book field in the U.S. However, it's rare because how the system's set up, that's usually an accident when greatness happens. It's not that the industry's not set up to produce art and literature, if that makes sense.
Well, it sounds like a shame.
Well, most of life is a shame. We have an orange, large-breasted president that's causing chaos.
That's for sure.
You know, the world's a dark place, man. So
yes, it is right now.
Well, you read through history, it's pretty dark always. But you know, our species has a knack for that. But the problem with artists is they're the least respected and the least paid, but usually the most needed to advance society and also to psychologically kind of express what's going on and to force people into issues or expose people into issues. And when I said art is a language to its own, it's individual to the artist. And it's important. It really upsets. There's a recent poll like USA Today or one of those shitty newspapers whereas artist is the least respected, field in America. And it's just like I'll never understand that, because if you're wearing clothes, you're wearing art. You're not just wearing gray wool. There's somebody designed that. The chair you're sitting in, somebody designed that. There's art everywhere you look, and it always advances society. So I don't really understand the lack of respect. But then again, we live in a world, again, with a large-breasted orange man telling us what to do.
Yeah, it's pretty terrifying. I'm hoping it's almost over. We
Yeah,
have to
we'll
go
see.
through this dark place here for a while until we can come out of it. I know some
Hopefully.
good's going to come out of it.
Hopefully. Right now, the good is drawing Hellboy. Is everybody else drawing Hellboys, or just me?
You're the only one I know.
Oh, geez. I thought this was a Hellboy party.
I don't even want to attempt that, so I'm going to leave that to you.
Yeah.
Oh, nonsense. You know who the best artist on earth is?
No.
The person who's enjoying themselves the most.
I
That's
love
why
that.
kids are usually
All
the
right.
best
I
damn
like
artists.
that. I like
do
that
too.
whole thing.
Yeah, you've already said a few profound things here I didn't expect.
Well, I have a beer in me. I'll try and get 3 or 4 more, and I'll really turn into a philosopher.
I bet. Well, Melissa here is an artist. She's a graphic artist, and she does
Outstanding.
amazing things. So she gets what you're doing.
Well, I mean, I'm
Awesome.
a graphic designer. I don't know if I would call myself an artist, but
Well, there's a spectrum for graphic art, right? There's an art side of it, but then you also, like my field, like I was saying before, you still have to make a living and make stuff that people can use, etc. We live in a society that's money based, and that's the problem with comic books. But commercial art is technically, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm trying to sell a product. So we're more alike than you think, probably.
yeah.
And there's no reason to diminish yourself. You're an artist if you're an artist. If you're doing graphic art at that time, for whether it's commercial or you're just screwing around to please yourself, you're expressing yourself. And as long as you're being honest about that, you're an artist, right? I don't care if you have a stick and a plastic drum and you're just beating it. You can make something cool, man. Walk down New Orleans street and you'll see little 12-year-old artists making some of the best drum music you've ever heard. So
I've seen that. I've witnessed
my
that.
point is, don't diminish yourself.
Okay.
Got it.
Yeah, got it. Some of us draw, some of us write. Those of us who consider ourselves creatives, just we do it because we enjoy it and we love it and we get something out of it. Otherwise, why do it? You could just do a regular,
Yeah, you can put spindles in a box for a living and make money more efficiently.
Of course.
But to your point, that's been the. Sorry, I'm drinking beer, everyone.
Woohoo!
Told you I'd be day drinking. When hold on, there we go. Hell, what were we talking about? My brain had to fix that line on his cheek.
We're talking about artists, why we want to be artists, why we want to create when we can go out and just deliver boxes for a living, where we do what we are passionate about, whether it's writing or drawing or whatever.
It has to be a selfish pursuit in the beginning. It can become noble later, but why the need to create is part of the problem. I quit comics because I'm tired of being the golden goose or the asshole that literally I haven't had a weekend off since I've known my wife, and I've known her for 22 years. So it's a really shitty job, a comic book artist and just an artist in general. It's a great pursuit, but it's a shitty job, if that makes sense.
Get it? Yeah.
Because there comes a point in every artist's journey that you're gonna Do you see where that cap went? See, this is why I have an assistant. They retrieve pen caps. Then I don't have to get my fat ass up. I can just drink more beer, right? There comes a time, especially in a younger artist, and this is a problem I have with my fellow peers. I find them all kind of, not all of them, but most of them are just, they're fucking cowards. And I get so tired of cowardice, especially nowadays. It just seems like almost all people I know are just so fucking scared to try something or just express themselves, take a fucking chance on themselves. And in my field, you know, life happens. People have kids. You got to pay your mortgage. It's, you know, whatever demon is biting your ass. We all have that. So at some point, an artist is going to be tested because they have to pay rent. And if they truly love what they're doing and they're fully committed, they're going to have to kill their babies every once in a while. But the problem is, if you get used to doing that, you're going to do it when you're already successful. And at that point, you're no longer an artist. You're not expressing. You're just hammering paychecks. You're a craftsman. Is there anything wrong with a craftsman? No. But you're not a fucking artist anymore. You're not out to express yourself. You don't feel you have something to say. You just want to be popular and hammer those Batman paychecks. And trust me, those Batman paychecks feel good. But you got to get quiet with yourself and understand, why am I doing this? To your point, what is my goal? And that might be, this month I have to pay my mortgage so I can get to my top of my mountain, whatever my goal is, to be this or that, or be able to publish this, or to show everyone I can do that. Or, you know, it takes time, those real journeys of becoming a successful artist that can express themselves in a way that affect other people. Good, bad, and all the shit in between. That's what an artist's job is, to get people. You're like a big wooden spoon in a bowl of chili. You got to stir that shit. And that's our job as an artist. And if you start if too much of the job becomes, I need to hammer a paycheck, I need to make a deadline, etc., I have a hard time believing you're an artist at that moment. And if that's all you're doing, in my eyes, you're not an artist at all. Now, I'm not saying you're a shitty person. I'm just saying you're not an artist. You're just hammering paychecks. You're a craftsman. You're making wooden stools. Nothing wrong with that. But, you know, people like to apply fake monikers to themselves to reinforce their egos. And what happens is you stop growing as an artist in that moment, because you're trying to validate yourself rather than realize your dreams. And once you do that, you're not being an artist. And we all have to delve into that kind of abyss of no art from time to time to pay said bills, etc. But you have to be self-conscious enough to pull yourself out of that if you have something to say in life. Not everybody has something to say. But I know me, and of course, I'm only speaking from my experience. I don't want anybody to be dismayed by what I'm saying. I want something to be said about what the hell I was doing here when I'm dead, because I think the only true immortality in life is the mark you leave behind. And if you leave a good one that affected people in a positive way, well, hell, that's immortality to me, you know, not some pretend afterlife. So my entire goal is, while I have time on this earth, is to get as good as I can so I can get my thoughts out of my head, so I can inspire maybe somebody, positively affect somebody, like, you know, a book did for me way back in the day, changed my entire life. So that's going to be my goal. I want to give back to people's, you know, what can I do to help a person either be entertained or inspired or whatever it is, but they're just, how they interact in planet Earth is different, more positive. So if all you're doing is making money and seeing how many followers you have, or, you know, chasing that dragon of money and fame, I'm not saying it's morally wrong. I'm just saying you're not an artist. And I have no interest in that. I have an interest in
I'm
drinking
grasping
beer.
that. I get it.
So, hey, I just went down along. I chased that dragon. I don't even know what the hell we're talking about. Apologies, Colleen.
It was an interesting rabbit hole, but I got a lot out of it. The thing is, you know, there's artists out there, in whether they're writers or, you know, they're creators, whatever they are, and it's friggin' scary. You know, it's try to do it on your own. Yes, you want to be an artist, and then you get tempted by money. Very few ever get to be tempted by money. Most of them are just doing art because it's their passion. It's like writing or drawing, sketching, whatever, is like breathing for creatives. So it's a scary thing, like you were saying, to not be scared and go for it. But it's tough. It's a tough world out there.
It's tough to make the decision, and it's tough to put the effort in. You have to be disciplined. People hate discipline, but it's the only path to freedom. You know, to have true freedom in your life, you have to be disciplined. And achieve really anything. Otherwise, you just licking envelopes or whatever the hell your stupid job is, putting spindles in a box. Again, nothing wrong with that. You may have different goals in life, that's what you need to get enough money to have the life you want. It's just, if you're an artist, that's poison. And I wish I could help more artists realize that they're giving into their fear. And the greatest lesson you can teach yourself is never make a decision based on fear, ever in your life. Could it be the correct decision? Of course. But that's just happenstance at that point. You're not really achieving anything. You're just doing something out of necessity, like a bear is attacking you. You got to defend yourself. You know, that's no longer, you don't have time to self-express. You're just trying to survive. So I don't know. I just wish I could, especially my field is poisoned with money and fame. I wish I could teach them that it's meaningless. It means nothing. It's hollow. And I truly believe that it's what you do that matters, not what people think of you, at least at the time, or the popularity contest, or how nice your car is, or how many zeros you have in your bank account. There are times you need money to eat and pay rent or buy your kids shoes. But if it's not that time, you should be concerting your effort to being a better artist. Because that, to your point, if you enjoy art, you should be the best damn version of an artist you can be, or a writer, or whatever creative self-expression there is. If you're not trying to be the best version of you, you're wasting everyone's time, I feel. And you might as well sell solar panels door to door in my fucking neighborhood with no mask.
Wow.
There you go, huh?
Wow.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get philosophical. But I left comics, the comic industry, for this reason, is because I lost respect for most of my peers. I have no respect for any of the shitheads running the show. And I found myself not enjoying my life. And all I want to do is tell stories. And I hated every second of my life. I worked good 70 plus hours a week. Barely got to see my wife or dogs, thinking I was doing my dream, where all I was doing was just creating money for other people that really had no talent. You know, I didn't even, put it this way, I did the comic book Shaun of the Dead, which many of you may have seen the movie. That book was in print for 14 years. I got $0. You know, that's the comic book industry. So I don't see, put it this way, I'm going to let everybody else play king of the shitheads, seeing who can draw the coolest Batman. I'm going to go do my stuff. I'm going to go draw Hellboy, and then I'll draw my book, and then I don't know, I'm going to follow my muse, you know? Because if you're not following your muse, I don't know what you're doing. Shit. Again, you might as well put spindles in boxes. Walk around with their mouth open.
Wow.
Sorry, am I talking too intensely?
No, I'm just like, wow. No, it's cool.
You just
watching
met
you
an
draw.
actual. I'm intense for a comic book artist. Most guys I know are fairly neutered by the, you know, and I say guys because it's been a guy industry in our stupid ass industry for so long. They're just now letting other people in.
Wow. The
which is
men's club,
pathetic.
our boys club.
It was. It's you know, it's your neighbor with the gut, you know, that wears the like shorts to the con, you know, and they're happy drawing Justice League or whatever stupid ass book they draw. Warmed over pizza is what they make for a living. And it's just like they're content, and they got, oh, I got 20,000 followers. I'm a successful person. You know, it's our society. It's systemic. It's cancer to validate yourself by who's looking at you.
That's everything right now.
I think.
It is. Well, I know that's what our president does.
Well,
I can't even call him a president. I usually just call him 45 or Cheeto Head, but
Cheeto Head.
yeah, it's one or the other. But I should concentrate on your drawing right now. We don't have too much time left. I know we started a little bit late, but we got about 10 more minutes. So I don't know
Cool.
if we're
I'm gonna pull out some Tombow pens.
Yeah, if you could show us another thing that you do, another style, maybe draw a flame or two. But we got like 10 more minutes of our philosophy class.
Chewing people's ears off. What are we down to 0 viewers now? Okay. So we'll gray tone old Hellboy here.
What does gray tone mean?
I'm gonna add an actual gray value to the artwork instead of just black or white.
Okay.
There's the light one, I think. I got a light one. I'm gonna grab.
Yeah, I'm watching it so I can see the difference.
Okay, let me, I just got to find my lightest one.
Okay.
I think I had the wrong cap on one of my pens, and it pretended it was a light one, and it wasn't. Ha! Voila! Okay, there we go. There we go. So what this does is, you can kind of see, it creates, you know, more values, where before I was just black and white. Now I'm gray too.
Okay.
Apologies for being so long-winded and taking so long in my drawing.
It's part of it. We want to be entertained as well as watching. It's
Well,
just we got a whole lineup of panels, and I'm just trying to keep this to an hour.
Cool, cool. Apologies. For some reason, I thought we were going longer than an hour, but that's my fault.
Sorry. When I sent it, I thought I said like 55 minutes, but that could be my fault too.
Nah, it's almost always my fault, Colleen. I don't really probably pay attention the way I should to most things.
Well, but you pay attention to your art and getting stuff done, so that's important.
Well, there's some gray tones. We'll, where's the dark one?
Yeah, and anyone that's still watching or will be watching this later, because we're recording it, putting it on our YouTube channel. Zach does quite a few Facebook Lives, just random Facebook Lives, and you can watch him draw. And I love it how you just play music in the background and you're creating, and it's pretty fun to watch. I tune in when I'm at work sometimes, and it just gives me some, you know, something to smile about.
Oh, that's awesome. Well,
so yeah.
Good to know. We'll throw a little white splatter on here for you too.
I got it now. I can totally see the dimension in it now.
Yeah, and that's just
Yeah.
stage one. You know, I do this for hours and hours, the process you've seen on my normal stuff. So we will, where is that ink? There it is. Ha. Sorry, I had to move a few things around because of the microphone. Any nib will do. I'll show you some fun splatter and stuff while we still got one viewer.
Yeah, I know. I'm telling you, my team and I, we promoted this event. We promoted it everywhere. Just,
It'll just take consistency, Colleen.
you know,
Two,
I know it's our first event.
you just keep hammering away, and just like my videos, I'll oscillate between like 2 and 30 viewers all the time.
Huh.
But then I post it, and you know, I'll get like 900 all of a sudden, you know. So
Oh yeah, right on.
let it soak a little bit, and I will bug my fans this week, and I'll make sure they watch it. I'll yell at them. Where's my toothbrush? Here's the black one. Do you see a white toothbrush over there? Aha! Of course, everything's at the bottom, Colleen.
Of course. Why would it be easy?
So what I'm doing right now is adding white splatter, which creates kind of like a dusty fog effect. The black splatter, excuse me, was done with a nib, which is a crow quill nib, like what you use to write the Declaration of Independence. It's just a fancy feathered quill, like an old school feathered quill, but it's made with steel.
That's really cool.
So, yeah. So, for your viewers, yeah, I think when we originally talked, I said extend it, but that was what, like a month ago. So.
Yeah, when we were first planning.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry. I mean,
it looks like I drove all your viewers away. So.
think that there's other panels going on.
I get it.
I'm sorry. I thought I copied and pasted instructions and sent the times and everything to everybody. So I thought I told
Colleen,
you.
don't worry. Okay. I'm happy to be here.
I was so happy to snag you. I was like, yeah.
It was fun. Megan's here. Say hi, Megan.
Hi.
Hey, Megan.
How are ya?
Hey, good. How are you?
Good.
My cat is in the room with me. My cat Shiloh.
Oh yeah. The young twin.
Yeah.
Now we're really picking up fans.
Well, she's got identical looking cats. They're just like 10 years apart.
Wow. I've never met any of your pets, Colleen.
Oh, yeah. They've come and gone, but now we got two torties, 2 cats. One of them's meowing at me. She probably wants to go outside.
Probably tired of hearing me talk about how much my industry sucks.
Zach, you are entertaining. I mean, I've talked to you before. I knew you'd be entertaining, so that's why I reached out to you.
Well, I appreciate it. And like I said, let this saturate and, you know, do this consistently, and you're going to build a fan base. You got a good product here, and you're a good, smart person that, you know, wants to celebrate, you know, fandom. So you just let me know what I need to do to support you, and I'll always be there.
Same here. That was the sweetest thing. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'm trying. I was on my own. Now I've got a team of 4, and then we've got about 15 writers now altogether, and we're just really focusing. And like you said, be persistent. We are.
It's just, it's mostly consistency. You got to have the product, right? But,
All right, consistency, yeah.
you know, people get dismayed early on. They're like, oh, I don't have 1,000 people following me today. And it's, just let it soak. Plant those seeds. Let people talk, you know.
Wow, we had no idea this much philosophical advice was going to come out of you today while you're drawing.
Yeah, well, I'm a giant windbag. Now you know.
That's why you're entertaining.
Yeah, here, let's have Hellboy say something.
All right, well, that'd be awesome.
He's not wearing a mask though, baby. He's in his own room right now, so we can't have him say that.
What is he writing?
Nerd alert news.
There we go. I'll scan this for you and get it in too.
Dude, that looks amazing.
Oh, thank you very much.
I love it. Very cool.
There we go. Good enough for you there, Colleen?
Yes.
Well, good.
I feel like we got two folded. Oh wait, we got someone else who just joined us right at the end here. Yeah, I feel like I got some serious inspiration from you today, Zach. I mean, you were honest, you're encouraging, you know, you're a freaking amazing artist, and it was a pleasure to have you. And if you wouldn't mind jumping on again sometime with Nerd Alert News, we'd love to have you.
Anytime your fans are too entertained, you call me and I'll get them bored and running away in a heartbeat.
God, yeah, nobody was bored. You got a lot to say.
I do.
Unfortunately, we got other panels going on too. I got to go pop over to a gaming panel that's going on. I got to go help out. So
go.
Zach Howard, it was a pleasure to have you. And until we virtually speak again.
Au revoir.
All right. Thanks everybody. Thanks from Nerd Alert News. You guys have a great rest of your day.